Hey, look, let's go ahead and move on. And we got to talk about this. We've been talking about this team all year. The only team, like we alluded to, the only team that has more wins in the last couple years than Michigan, the Georgia Bulldogs.
And this shows up at the perfect time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if there's ever a team that has it, what's going on, Anthony? That seems to have all of the answers and it seems to get it done year in and year out. It has been them. And on a team full of stars, we all seem to elevate this one guy, Brock Bowers, baby Gronk, as he's been called, the best tight end and the first tight end. And I mean, I want to say ever, at least in my memory, that's been even somebody that could be considered for a Heisman Trophy or even in that conversation.
Yeah.
So, and if you have not heard recently, got hurt. I believe it was an ankle.
Yes.
Ankle injury. And the way it's looking, they're potentially going to have to do surgery, and what they were thinking, 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to bring in our guy, one half of that dynamic duo that is This Week in Georgia Football, Collin P. What up, Collin?
Hey, good morning, guys. What's going on? Happy Saturday morning football to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
you as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see you sent that. Yeah. Handy, get in here if you can. But, speak on it, man. So talk about the injury, talk about what you've heard and what was going forward.
Yeah, basically, every coach or every fan does not want to hear a high ankle sprain because that's like the worst thing aside from a broken bone, really. So what they did, it wasn't a high ankle sprain. The X-rays were negative, but they did in fact do that tightrope surgery. So basically, what they're doing, they put a screw in there to kind of stabilize the ankle. And you're right. The recovery time's around. They said 4 to 6. I mean, it could be longer. I mean, each player is different. But you know how Brock Bowers is. He's itching to come back. You never know. He may be, pushing it to be sooner than later.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But,
now let me go ahead.
No, I was going to say that Kirby did say that in his press conference that he's not he's not concerned with getting him back on the field, just getting him healthy. That's the main thing. Just get it load bearing, that kind of stuff, and not push it, not rush it. Get him. We've got some in the stable, man. We got some people that can take his place, but it may take a couple of them to take his place. But we got some people.
Well, so that was my question. Delp, he's the immediate name that comes up to the list, and I'm gonna ask you this, but bring in Handy. I see Handy's in the background. What's going on, Handy?
Hey, what's good? What's good, fellas? How y'all be?
Doing well.
Always good. Always good.
How ironic that I happened to click the link right when y'all decided to start talking about my boys. My ears were itching.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. But all right. So going back to this, Collin, and I'll let you answer this right after, Handy. Bowers being out, you talked about, hey, next man up. We've all had that discussion. All said that. Is Delp the guy? Is somebody else going to come that we do not know about? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he's a good replacement. Is anybody really a total replacement for Bowers? I doubt it. The kid's he's in fuego. He does things that players shouldn't be doing. But he throw the ball around him, he's gonna bring it down. But this gives more action to Delp. Delp is kind of in that the Stetson role, like he's been biding his time, and then he's even said in this past press conferences that he's been taking notes, and the best mentor ever is Bauer. So he's ready to move. He's played a little bit. He hasn't had that many snaps, but when he's in, he's been doing pretty good. So this will give him more coverage or more exposure and more playing time. I think we'll be all right with Delp. And also it'll open up all the other receivers as well. So if you look at the stats and everything, 8 or 9 receivers have been getting the ball. Beck's been spreading the ball around. So so I think we'll be all right with Delp.
Oh yeah, Handy. What you think, Anthony?
Did you hand in the question to me?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. All I heard was hand. What hand? What? Where? Anyway, I was like, "What? Am I in a horror movie?" I just disappear. Do I think that Delk can do the job? Well, we have seen what Kirby Smart has been able to do with guys that have had to sit in the wings and bide their time and get on the field. We talked at length, ad nauseum for the last couple of seasons about a kid that wound up having to transfer to Jones College just to wait long enough to get his shot, and who led the team to back-to-back championships. We've talked about there are guys that are playing. Keely Ringo wound up having to sit behind some guys before he got his shot. I think that one thing that Kirby Smart has shown himself to be able to do. Now, this doesn't mean that he's able to do it with everybody. You know what I mean? But Kirby Smart has been very adept at getting these guys to, with a couple of noticeable exceptions, he's been able to get these guys to hang around the program and bide their time until they get their playing time. And when they get out there, they make the most of it. I mean, perfect case in point. I don't know if you guys have been following this Muse kid that's been playing on special teams. But that, he's just been hanging around the team, waiting for his chance to do his thing. And he's been out there doing it. He's had a couple of really good returns, a couple of big returns on special teams. What's your boy's name, Collin? The one you fell in love with? Sound like a rapper, Cash Jones. Cash Jones is out there. I mean, he's not. The thing is that these players are not. Some of them, like Cash Jones, is not necessarily making huge impact. But when he gets the opportunity, Cash has scored a couple touchdowns in crucial points in games where the touchdown is the difference between the win and the loss, or the turnaround and the offense turning on in the second half, like we have been doing for this season, which has been driving me completely crazy.
Or the extra touchdown that pads the stats.
Right. Right. Why you got to bring up? Hey, look, man, you can't tell all the family secrets, man. You can't tell all the family secrets.
But real quick. No, I do want to ask you this, because I asked Collin this. You and I have been talking college football longer than any of us on. You know what I mean?
Right.
You've seen, just like I saw Sam Howell since his freshman year. You've seen Brock Bowers since his freshman year. What does this do from like a leadership standpoint? Him being out, I know he'll still be in the locker room, but not being on the field. Like when you need a big play, everybody in America knows where it's going, and still nobody can stop him.
Right. What does it do for a program like Georgia? To be completely honest, I got to tell you, I think the way that Kirby teaches and instills in these guys is that one man does not make this program. Because remember, after we went to the national championship, everybody thought Jake Fromm was the guy until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then when Jake Fromm left the program, people were like, "Oh man." The fans, from the fan perspective, are like, are we really going to roll with Bennett? I mean, he looks good, but he's untested. And the next thing you know, you get an Natty, and you get an Natty, and you might get a Natty this. He's not here now, but I think the Kirby Smart, one of the things
he did have two of the best defenses.
He did. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, look, if you got a defense that puts you in a position where you only got to go 20 yards to get a touchdown, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
You can only play with what's on the roster, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And you say, and if that roster happens to be good, then hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like somebody complained. It's like somebody, honestly, to be completely honest, it's like a guy like me that makes what I make annually on my job complaining because Bill Gates gets to eat. Bill Gates gets to eat grain-fed, corn-fed steak and chicken every day. That's what the man got to eat. I got to eat what I got to eat and make the best of it, and he got to eat what he got to make. He gets to eat what he got to eat to make the best of it. And Georgia has suffered from what I like to call an embarrassment of riches.
Suffered by building the Avengers of college football. Yeah.
Right. And I say suffered. Georgia has been suffering from an embarrassment of riches over the course of the last. I mean, I'll say it. Since the year we made the run for the national championship, at the Rose Bowl with Baker Mayfield and all of that good stuff. because we had that year we had Chubb and Michelle, and we had DeAndre Swift. We had those guys then, and then those guys left, and then next up you got Brock Bowers coming in, you got Stetson Bennett coming in, and then all of a sudden me and Collin are looking at each other like, who the hell is this kid Ladd McConkey, and who is this kid Kendall Milton? Even though Milton is the best unhealthy. I'm gonna make a statement. Kendall Milton is the best unhealthy running back in college football.
Yeah, absolutely.
He might only be able to play 6 plays for 2 games, but he will come out and give you 380 yards in them 3 runs.
That's very true.
So it is my feel. I mean, honestly, let's be real. If we didn't have Brock Bowers, down there in Washington would have shown a lot brighter, because Big O was out there doing this thing. So I think I honestly think Oscar Delp will be. I think Oscar Delp will be just fine. They suffer from a little case of, this is you. Sean, you played ball. Collin, you played a little ball. I played a little ball. Alex, you played a little ball. Remember when you finally got the coach said, "Hey," and the butterflies kicked in, and you were like, "Can I do this? Can I do this?" And then you put pad on pad, and you're like, "Oh yeah, let's go."
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, my question
Delp was no small kid. I mean, like he's 6'7", and 245 pounds. I mean, he's a big.
Wait a minute. I didn't read his whole biological. I wasn't all in his personal business like that. 6'7". That changes some things. That changes some things. You got to do this out there 6'8", 4'12". He should be slapping dudes on the head and taking their milk money.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Can I answer this question in the comments? Did you put that up there for me?
Scott, Scott
6'5", 225.
Yeah, 6'5". Sorry about that.
That's still a big dude.
That's still.
I'm 6. Look, I'm not a small dude. I'm gonna be looking up at him like, excuse me, Mr. Delp, sir. I know I shouldn't be calling you sir because you're young enough to be my kid.
You know what? I'm looking for a freshman. I'm looking for a freshman. We got a freshman tied into 6'7". So look that guy up. I can't remember his name.
Okay. Next man up. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
My question was just going to be like Sean alluded to earlier. Every time you guys have needed that like game clinching first down, the big play late in the game, it's gone to Bowers. Who do you guys expect to be that guy to take that role?
I want to say, go ahead, Collin.
No, go ahead. I'm thinking of that. That's a good question.
I was going to say if Ladd McConkey is healthy next week, and he didn't get a whole lot of touches last week, and we got a bye week this week. If Ladd McConkey is healthy, he'll be that guy. I also see for Delp to get some touches as well. And then we already know what Dejon Edwards can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dejon. Dejon would be one of the pick, the little off counter, little dump offs. I mean, I'm sure they'll do that to him a little bit. Maybe my boy Cash Jones. You never know.
Yeah, I can honestly say that with consistency outside of Brock Bowers, even in the games where Collin and I are going, why are they pussyfooting around with these guys out there? Dejon is out there slashing and cutting when they needed a crucial first down. And the pass game wasn't hitting, hand the ball to Dejon 2 or 3 times, and it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I think this is going to be a game where Carson Beck kind of, if the last couple weeks were games where he silenced the doubters, this is going to be a game and going forward where he says, "Hey, it's not Brock Bowers. I'm not doing it because of him. I'm not doing it because of these guys." Edwards would have been my number 1 guy, but I think this is where Carson Beck kind of cements himself as either I'm going up, or I'm just going to be another guy that's a Georgia quarterback.
Very, very nicely said, nicely brought out that he has grown. I have loved watching him grow more comfortable over the course of the season. I think a big part for him is when the season started, he knew he had big shoes to fill. And if Stetson Bennett never plays another down of football in his life, he will be an absolute legend on that campus. Period. Point blank. Without question. I mean, Herschel Walker, his personal life outside of football notwithstanding, I mean, he was in the middle of a campaign, and he was in the middle of a hotly contested political campaign in the state of Georgia against I cannot remember his Raphael Warnock. And even during that campaign, he showed up at a game, and the crowd was on their feet calling the dogs right along with him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think he realized he had some huge shoes to fill, but he has grown more and more comfortable every week. It really showed 100% during the Kentucky game. And I would like to think that since Georgia has been doing this playing up to the competition thing this year, with Florida being 5-2 this year instead of being like the maybe 3-4 that we thought they would be at this point in the season, I'm thinking he's gonna come out. He's gonna come out guns blazing.
Yeah, Sean, you made a good point about his his emotion. Like, he had been composed and that kind of stuff. And I think he finally, that Kentucky game, it kind of showed a little excitement, jumping around on the players, people picking him up and that kind of stuff. That does the world of, the difference for a quarterback like that, having the butterflies and having those big shoes to fill. But I think last week also kind of made him, I'm hoping it kind of gave him a little more humility too, because he did have that pick. And he didn't play his best. Like, he came out of that Kentucky game and then kind of messed around with Vanderbilt a little bit. We did win the game and everything, that kind of stuff. But maybe he's coming back. Maybe that he had kind of a up and a down, and maybe he'll bring them two together. In that Florida game. So, but yeah, the main thing with him is just keeping excitement. I think with him is just he needs to keep it pumped up because he's going to be needed as one of those leaders. So Brock's going to be on the sideline. He'll be a leader. Not on the field, but I'm sure he'll be like Kobe and the rest of those guys.
Still chatting, still talking, still doing
still
that.
Talking, yeah.
Hey, if I don't know if you guys are quick to rush away, we got to do one quick little game ball segment. We're talking about it, but we want to give your quick picks on the SEC if you guys can stick around.
I can.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take you out real quick, and then we'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen these two Monday nights at I believe 8 or 9, depending on when these guys get together. All of us work full-time jobs, so we have to come home and do that. But they talk this week in Georgia football, but also cover the SEC. So you're gonna have to tune in. They're gonna come back in here, and we're gonna go through that slate of games. And it's easier. We've both said when you don't have to play your team that week. When your team's not playing, it's easy to go and pick other games and talk about other stuff.